Number 30, Northwest Stadium, Washington Commanders. Look, there's no way around this. Northwest Stadium, previously known as FedEx Field, is pitiful. It opened in 1997 as a monument with over 91,000 seats and a parking plan that seemed drawn up on the back of a napkin. Fast forward a couple decades, and the place is falling apart faster than Washington's playoff hopes. Let's get the horror stories out of the way. A railing collapsed on fans trying to high-five Jalen Hurts. A pipe burst, raining questionable water on unlucky spectators. The stadium has shrunk by over 30,000 seats since its debut, and on many Sundays, it still feels empty. Home field advantage? Try 50-50 splits with opposing fans. It's basically Airbnb for the rest of the NFL. Getting there is a trek. Drive, metro, shuttle, walk. It's a logistical Rubik's Cube. Parking is chaos, post-game traffic is biblical, and you'll pay Super Bowl-level prices for what amounts to a sad chili dog. The food's forgettable, the seats can be obstructed, and the vibes? Somewhere between mall food court and an abandoned strip mall. There's a band, though, NFL's oldest, in fact. And that's honestly one of the stadium's few redeeming qualities. New owner, new name, and hopefully a new stadium soon. Because right now, Northwest Stadium is the least fun building in the NFL, and one of the league's proudest fan bases deserves so much better. Number 29, Highmark Stadium, Buffalo Bills. The Bills Mafia is certifiably nuts. The tailgate is among the craziest, booziest, and rowdiest in football. You want to see grown-ass men jump off RVs in an attempt to smash through a flaming portable table. This is the place. I'm convinced the excessive pre-game binge drinking numbed this dedicated fan base into repeatedly coming out in snowy weather for decades of mediocre football in the long years between Jim Kelly and Josh Allen. Opened in 1973 and tucked away in Orchard Park, Highmark Stadium is old, cold, and loud. Just the way Bills Mafia likes it. It's got zero frills, minimal cover, and concession stands that feel like time capsules. You don't come to Highmark for amenities, you come to earn your stripes. Still, time has caught up with the old concrete coliseum. It's aging, leaking, and clearly not built for the modern fan, which is why a shiny new $2.1 billion stadium is rising next door. Natural grass, fewer seats, but way more style. It's set to open in 2026. Until then, Buffalo's still doing it the old way. Loud, gritty, and proud. Number 28, Bank of America Stadium, Carolina Panthers. Bank of America Stadium is what happens when you build a solid NFL stadium and don't mess it up for 25 years. Opened in 1996, it's old school in all the right ways. Open air, city backdrop, simple layout. It doesn't try to dazzle. It just shows up, serves football, and heads home. Located in the heart of uptown Charlotte, it blends into the skyline like it belongs there. Tailgating is legit, with city blocks full of fans grilling, tossing footballs, and getting their pre-game ritual right. Once inside, the bowl is clean and symmetrical. The sight lines are solid, and there's something incredibly charming about a stadium that hasn't gone full spaceship yet. The keep pounding drum before every game sets the tone. This place may not be flashy, but it's got soul. The crowd brings a steady energy, even in down years. And while it doesn't have a roof, climate control, or LED ribbons in every direction, recent upgrades have kept it fresh enough. Bigger boards, improved concourses, and better food options. It's not going to wow you like some of the other stadiums on this list, but it doesn't need to. Bank of America Stadium is like a working-class venue with clean vibes, solid views, and a fan base that's more substance than spectacle. Number 27, Nissan Stadium, Tennessee Titans. Your Madden create a franchise stadium in real life. It's not memorable in any way, but the pedestrian bridge from downtown is a nice touch. Nissan Stadium is a concrete time capsule from 1999, parked on the banks of the Cumberland River. From the outside, it looks decent enough. Great skyline views, photogenic location, and smack in the heart of Nashville's party scene. But once you're inside, it's clear this place is overdue for a serious upgrade. Think less Music City magic, more, did someone forget to finish decorating? The vibe? Uneven. Titans fans show up and bring it for big games, but the building often gets hijacked by opposing fan bases, especially teams with bigger travel squads. It's not uncommon to hear more cheers for visiting touchdowns than home ones, which is a buzzkill. Add in the open-air design and you're either sweating through your seat or freezing your fingers off, depending on the month. Amenities? Bare bones. Food is basic, lines are long, and the upper-level seating is a test of thigh endurance and wind resistance. Parking is also a chore. You're either paying premium to park close or hoofing it across a bridge after hiking through tourist gridlock. It's functional, but only just. The good news? Its days are numbered. The Titans are getting a brand new domed stadium set to open in the next few years. Until then, Nissan Stadium remains a placeholder, a stadium that's trying its best, but knows it's about to be replaced by a younger, flashier sibling. Number 26, EverBank Stadium, Jacksonville Jaguars. EverBank Stadium is Florida football in its purest, weirdest form. Opened in 1995 and sitting along the St. Johns River like a sunburned tailgate king, this stadium is equal parts party pad and football venue. It's the only NFL stadium where you can literally watch a game while chest deep in a swimming pool. No, seriously. This place doesn't just have pools. It has two of the biggest video boards in the world and a Bud Light party zone that feels more like a spring break club than a sports venue. It's loud, it's hot, and it leans hard into the Florida lifestyle. Part hospitality, part chaos, but all in on fun. The vibe? It depends on the team. When the Jags are rolling, this place gets rowdy. When they're not, you might hear more cheers from away fans than locals. Still, the experience is solid. The stadium has unique social spaces, improved food offerings, and a layout that, while showing its age, still holds up for a good Sunday. Big-time changes are coming. The Jags are prepping a $1.4 billion renovation to turn this place into the stadium of the future, with a canopy for shade, more modern amenities, and a capacity that can flex for big events. Basically, a total glow-up is coming by 2028. Bottom line, EverBank is quirky, sweaty, and one of a kind. It's not polished, but it knows how to throw a party. And in Jacksonville, that's what matters. Number 25, Paycor Stadium, Cincinnati Bengals. Paycor Stadium, still lovingly referred to as the Jungle, is a stadium with a pulse, and right now, it's thumping. Opened in 2000 and perched along the banks of the Ohio River, it's a no-frills football factory that's found new life, thanks to a QB named Burrow, and a fan base that's hungry, loud, and now finally hopeful. Let's be clear, the bones are solid, but this place isn't a tech demo. You're not walking into spaceship vibes or a retractable roof paradise. What you are walking into is a hard-nosed, loud, open-air stadium where the skyline frames the action and the fans are fully locked in. When the team's rolling, Paycor gets loud, and with "Welcome to the Jungle" echoing through the speakers, you know exactly where you are. The fan experience? It's trending up. Concessions have improved, seating's getting more comfortable, and there's finally real momentum toward renovations. $185 million worth coming soon, with suite upgrades, lounge overhauls, and tech boosts on deck. You're also right next to bars and breweries downtown, which means your pre-game and post-game plans are sorted without breaking a sweat. Of course, it's not perfect. It still carries some early 2000s design hangovers, and some areas could use more life. But the direction is clear, upward. The team's good, the crowd is dialed in, and the city is buzzing with Bengals fever. Bottom line, Paycor Stadium isn't the flashiest venue in the league, but it's got heart, a killer setting, and just enough bite to make the Jungle nickname feel earned again. Number 24, MetLife Stadium, New York Jets and New York Giants. MetLife Stadium is what happens when you try to build the ultimate NFL venue and forget to give it a soul. Opened in 2010 and clocking in at $1.6 billion, it's big, it's gray, and it's somehow both overbuilt and underwhelming. It's also the only stadium where two teams pay rent, and somehow neither really feels at home. On Giants days, it's a sea of blue and tradition. On Jets days, it's green, gritty, and a little more unhinged. The stadium swaps team branding with the flip of a switch, which is efficient, but also makes the whole place feel like a hotel lobby that just put up your team's banner for a weekend stay. There's no real identity, no iconic features, just concrete LED screens and vibes that vary wildly depending on the score. It's got all the modern bones, huge capacity, decent sightlines, enough bathrooms to avoid riots. But the gray-on-gray design and suburban location in East Rutherford zap the atmosphere. You won't find rowdy tailgates spilling into the city here. You'll find long lines for buses back to Manhattan and parking lot gridlock. Food's okay, beer's expensive. Energy? Depends on who's winning. They're about to rip out seats and install grass for the 2026 World Cup final, which might help a bit. But let's be real, the fix MetLife needs isn't wider fields. It's a personality transplant. Bottom line, MetLife is clean, cold, and colossal. It does the job, but it's the NFL's beige rental car. Gets you there, but you won't remember the ride. Number 23, Levi Stadium, San Francisco 49ers. Levi's Stadium feels less like a football coliseum and more like a Silicon Valley startup's vision board. Opened in 2014 and tucked into Santa Clara, a cool 45 minutes from San Francisco if you're lucky. It's sleek, smart, and surgically clean. It's also the first stadium that might recommend you download an app before ordering nachos. On paper, Levi's checks all the boxes. Solar panels, LEED Gold certification, a rooftop farm, yes, really, and 4K video boards that can practically beam replays to Mars. Inside, the sightlines are great. The tech is everywhere, and it's built with a sustainability-first mindset. It's the Tesla of NFL stadiums. But here's the rub. The atmosphere can be a little meh. The stadium's east-west alignment means half the fans roast in the sun like rotisserie chickens during day games. Something that wouldn't have been a problem if it had been built in SF proper. Combine that with a relatively corporate crowd and some pricey concessions, and it doesn't exactly scream rabid home field advantage. That said, when the Niners are rolling, the place still pops. There's pride, energy, and flashes of the old candlestick grit, even if the setting is more microchip than mud. Add in Super Bowl hosting gigs, World Cup matches on the way, and a list of upgrades that include the largest 4K display in the league. And it's clear the Niners have a modern gem. They just might need to spice it up a little. Number 22, Huntington Bank Field, Cleveland Browns. Huntington Bank Field is football through the lens of heartbreak and hope, Cleveland style. Perched right on the edge of Lake Erie, this place is cold, gray, windy, and soaked in history. And somehow, that makes it perfect. Opened in 1999 on the site of the old municipal stadium, aka the Mistake by the Lake, this place was built for the loyalists. Browns fans don't flinch, they bark. The vibe here is gritty. The Dog Pound isn't just a name, it's a force. That East End Zone bleacher section might be the loudest chunk of aluminum in the NFL. Fans show up in dog masks, hard hats, and full-on face paint, screaming like their lives depend on it. Whether the team is 10-4 or 4-10, this fan base has been through it, and they wear their pain like armor. Facility-wise, Huntington Bank Field is solid, but showing its age. The concourses are fine, the concessions are better than they used to be, and the scoreboard's got an upgrade. But it's still an older structure in a league that's trending toward LED-covered spaceship stadiums. You're not here for luxury. You're here for the cold air, the tough crowd, and a shot of old-school NFL energy. And soon, it'll be history. Plans are in place for a brand-new enclosed stadium in Brook Park, expected to open by 2028. That's great news for modern comforts, but it also means saying goodbye to a venue that's been a big part of the Browns' rebirth era. Number 21, Soldier Field, Chicago Bears. Soldier Field is a bizarre mix of past and present, like if Abraham Lincoln woke up inside a spaceship. The reverence for the history of the field means there's limited legroom and entryways, leading to long wait times to see whichever mediocre quarterback happens to be getting sacked that day. The 2003 renovation took a classic Coliseum and jammed a modern spaceship inside it, resulting in a Franken Stadium that looks like it crash-landed on the lakefront. It lost its National Historic Landmark status in the process, which tells you everything you need to know about how well that went. The seating is tight, the wind off Lake Michigan is brutal, and the field surface often ranks among the league's worst, but the views of downtown Chicago are gorgeous, and the sightlines are surprisingly solid. Despite its flaws, the atmosphere can be electric. Bears fans are a blue-collar, weather-beaten bunch who show up loud, loyal, and layered in navy and orange, no matter the record. It's a classic, tough environment that oozes old-school football grit. But it's clear Soldier Field's days are numbered. The Bears are eyeing a $4.7 billion domed lakefront stadium to bring their home into the modern age. Because while tradition is great, heated seats and reliable turf are even better. Number 20, Raymond James Stadium, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Some venues go a little overboard with their decor, but seriously, why wouldn't you want a pirate ship in the middle of your stadium? Anyways, Raymond James Stadium, aka Ray J, is basically a pirate-themed amusement park with a football field slapped in the middle. The centerpiece? A full-size pirate ship in the north end zone that fires actual cannons every time the Bucs score. It's gimmicky, it's loud, and it's awesome. Kids love it. Drunk adults love it. You will love it. Opened in 1998, Ray J was once cutting edge, but now rides the middle wave of NFL venues. The bones are good. Wide concourses, a ton of restrooms, and solid sightlines. The sound system and giant video boards got a big upgrade recently, which definitely helps. But the lower bowl still gets jammed around the pirate ship area. And if you're seated nearby, prepare to get blasted with cannon fire every few minutes. Game day vibes are laid back. This is Florida, after all. Tailgating is solid but scattered, and the stadium sits in a mesh part of Tampa, so don't expect a party district outside the gates. Parking? Rough. Disorganized at times, slow to get out, and more than a few horror stories about hours-long exits. Number 19, Hard Rock Stadium, Miami Dolphins. Hard Rock Stadium is the NFL's ultimate identity chameleon. Since opening in 1987 as Joe Robbie Stadium, it's cycled through more names than a witness in a mob trial. Pro Player, Dolphins, Landshark, Sun Life, and now Hard Rock. But after a $350 million renovation in 2016, this once bland venue finally found its groove. The facelift added a sleek canopy roof that shades 92% of fans from the brutal South Florida sun while leaving the field exposed. Because nothing says home field advantage like watching opponents wilt in 90-degree heat. The upgrades also brought massive HD video boards, modernized seating, and premium lounges, transforming the stadium into a multi-purpose entertainment hub. Despite its suburban Miami Gardens location, the game day atmosphere is electric. Tailgating is like a serious affair, with fans firing up grills and blasting music hours before kickoff. The stadium also hosts a range of events, from the Miami Open tennis tournament to Formula One races, showcasing its versatility. Number 18, Gillette Stadium, New England Patriots. Gillette Stadium is cold, remote, and kind of a pain to get to, but for 2 decades, it was the house of football gods, nestled in Foxborough, a town that's basically halfway between nowhere and Boston. This place opened in 2002 and immediately became the epicenter of NFL dominance. If you're a Pats fan, it's sacred ground. If you're not, it's where your playoff hopes probably died. The design? Functional but far from flashy. The signature lighthouse and bridge combo is a cool touch, but it's mostly there for branding, not viewing. The bowl itself is symmetrical and clean, but the sound doesn't trap noise the way other venues do, so it can feel surprisingly tame unless it's a high-stakes matchup. Weather? Brutal. You're either freezing, soaked, or sunburnt, sometimes all three. Getting in and out is a grind. There's no convenient public transit, and you're surrounded by miles of parking lots, and that's it. Patriot Place adds some pre-game flair with shopping and restaurants, but you're still basically tailgating in the woods. That said, this place is dripping with history. Brady Belichick 6 rings and more playoff wins than some franchises have regular season games. It's not a jaw-dropping stadium, but when you've been that good for that long, you don't need to be. You just win. Number 17, Lincoln Financial Field, Philadelphia Eagles. Welcome to the Link, where the fans are loud, the attitude is louder, and if you're wearing the wrong jersey, you might want to call your mom before kickoff. Opened in 2003, Lincoln Financial Field replaced the Vet and instantly upgraded the Eagles' nest from concrete dungeon to modern battle arena, though it kept all the Philly edge. This place absolutely thumps. The acoustics are sharp, the upper decks are steep, and the fans, relentless. Philly crowds don't just cheer, they coach, boo, heckle, and generally create one of the most intense home atmospheres in the league. It's not uncommon to see a full tailgate underway at 7 a.m., even in December, with a guy in a Brian Dawkins jersey manning the grill in 20-degree wind. Design-wise, it's sleek enough. The wing-like facade nods to the team's namesake, and the open corners give you skyline views. Plus a nice cross breeze that will absolutely freeze your face off come January. It's not fancy, but it gets the job done, with solid sightlines and one of the better food lineups in the NFL. Bonus points. The Link is a green machine. Solar panels, wind turbines, composting, you name it. Philly went full eco-warrior without losing the grit. The only downside? Parking is chaos, and public transit isn't a magic bullet. But hey, if you're going to the Link, you're not there for convenience, you're there for war. Number 16, Empower Field at Mile High. Welcome to Empower Field at Mile High, where the air is thin, the noise is thick, and your visiting team probably needs an oxygen mask by the second quarter. Sitting 5,280 feet above sea level, this place doubles as both an NFL stadium and an altitude training center. Advantage, Denver. Opened in 2001 to replace the beloved original Mile High, the new barn kept the name, sort of, and the soul. The steep seating bowl traps noise like a dome, and when the fans let loose with chants, it's one of the most distinct stadium atmospheres in the league. The fans are loyal, loud, and never late. This is a town that takes its football and tailgating very seriously, with lots packed by sunrise. The recent renovations help too. Upgraded video boards, club lounges, and food options, everything from gourmet eats to $5 classics, gave the place a fresh coat of modern polish. Plus, there's Wi-Fi strong enough to stream your fantasy heartbreak in real time. Sure, it's a bit of a concrete slab from the outside, and discussions of building a newer, shinier stadium have floated around. But inside, the experience holds up. Empower Field may not be the flashiest, but with history, altitude, and a rabid fan base on its side, it's still one of the league's toughest places to play. Number 15, Ford Field, Detroit Lions. Ford Field might just be the most underrated dome in the NFL. Opened in 2002, it's a slick blend of old-school Detroit grit and modern stadium polish. They literally built this thing into a 1920s Hudson warehouse, and it works. Exposed brick, high-end suites, and that industrial charm give it a vibe unlike any other NFL barn. If a stadium could wear a Carhartt jacket and still serve craft cocktails, it'd be Ford Field. The field is 45 feet below street level, so when you walk in, you're already descending into the pit. The seating bowl is tight, steep, and loud. Throw in some natural light thanks to the big glass end zones, and you've got a dome that somehow doesn't feel like a cave. The sightlines are great, and the sound? Crisp. Whether it's boos or cheers, you hear everything. Food-wise, Ford Field delivers. You can grab local staples like Big Boy Burgers, or hit up Detroit BBQ that'll make you forget the win-loss column for a minute. The concourses are wide, the flow is smooth, and the overall fan comfort is top tier. Plus, you're right downtown, which makes pre- and post-game hangs way easier than out in the suburbs setups. Historically, it's been a cathedral of suffering. But now, this place is rocking. The Dan Campbell era has brought grit, hype, and a fan base that's more fired up than it's been in decades. When Ford Field is full and the Lions are actually good, it's one of the best vibes in football. Number 14, M&T Bank Stadium, Baltimore Ravens. M&T Bank Stadium, or the Bank, as the locals call it, is Baltimore to the bone. Tough, loud, a little gritty, and proud of it. Opened in 1998 and sitting right next to Camden Yards, this place doesn't try to be flashy. It just shows up, hits hard, and gets the job done. Kind of like the team that plays in it. From the outside, it's not a head-turner, but step inside and it's all business. The sightlines are solid, the upper decks bring the noise, and the acoustics crank up every chant to full throttle. Ravens fans are no joke. Smart, intense, and fully committed to the purple and black. When that defense is rolling and 7 Nation Army hits, it's electric. The pregame scene is a highlight. Ravens Walk is a sea of tailgating, grilling, beer merch, and purple everything. Once you're inside, the concourses are wide, the food options decent, and the video board's big enough to catch every Lamar Jackson highlight you missed while grabbing a crab cake. Getting there's a breeze too. The light rail drops you off right at the gates, which is a rare win for stadium logistics. No endless suburban parking trek. Just hop on, roll in, and get loud. Bottom line, M&T isn't trying to be SoFi or Allegiant. It's a no-frills football cathedral for a city that wears its heart and its linebacker hits on its sleeve. And when this place is rocking, good luck leaving with a W. Number 13, Acrisure Stadium, Pittsburgh Steelers. You can slap a corporate name on it, but to Pittsburgh, it'll always be Heinz Field. Opened in 2001 and dropped right on the banks of the Three Rivers, this place is a steel cathedral to smash-mouth football. You want atmosphere? This place oozes it, especially when those terrible towels start twirling and the defense is cooking. The design isn't fancy, but it's functional with a gritty industrial edge. Very Pittsburgh. The open horseshoe end gives you killer views of the downtown skyline and river, especially during late-season games when the city turns steel gray and the football gets even meaner. Inside, it's tight, loud, and built for intimidation. The upper deck doesn't feel miles away, and the steep seating ensures that when the fans yell, it echoes like a blast furnace. Tailgating here is classic Rust Belt. We're talking kielbasa, pierogies, Iron City beer, and entire families decked out in black and gold. The Great Hall inside the stadium is a museum to the dynasty years. 6 Lombardis, Franco's Immaculate Reception, Mean Joe, you name it. It's football heritage with a side of nostalgia. The knocks, the turf. It's real grass, and it usually turns into a mudslide by December. Also, some concourses and food options could use a refresh. But let's be honest, nobody's coming to Acrisure for gourmet sushi. You're coming for the hits, the history, and that one guy screaming, "Here we go Steelers," for 3 straight quarters. Number 12, NRG Stadium, Houston Texans. NRG Stadium was cutting edge when it opened in 2002. First ever NFL stadium with a retractable roof. Game changer. Texans fans could enjoy football without melting in Houston's swampy inferno or dealing with a sudden Gulf Coast downpour. And it still works. The roof does its job, the sightlines are decent, and you'll be comfy no matter the month. But over 20 years later, that futuristic sheen has faded into something kind of vanilla. The bones are solid, but the vibe, it's lacking. The acoustics don't hold crowd noise like other domes, and the game day atmosphere can feel pretty tame, especially if the Texans aren't in contention, which, let's be honest, has been often. The concourses are narrow, the interior feels dated, and the stadium's got a mall with a football field in it energy. Functional, but not exciting. Now, if you're down in the bullpen, it's a different story. That's where the diehards live, horns up, voices loud, and traditions like the bullpen toast keeping the energy alive. Tailgating in the NRG park lots is respectable too, with plenty of barbecue smoke and Lone Star beer wafting through the Texas heat. Overall, NRG Stadium is like the Texans themselves, some potential decent infrastructure, but not exactly must-see material. With some updates and a winning team, this place could roar again. For now, it's an air-conditioned sanctuary with a side of meh. Number 11, State Farm Stadium, Arizona Cardinals. State Farm Stadium looks like a spaceship crash-landed in the desert and then decided to start hosting football games. And honestly, it kind of rules. Opened in 2006 in Glendale, it was ahead of its time. Retractable roof, retractable natural grass field, yes, the whole thing slides outside for sunbathing, and air conditioning that actually works. In Arizona, that's a big deal. From the outside, it's all curves and chrome, easily one of the most recognizable exteriors in the league. Inside, it's clean, comfortable, and incredibly fan-friendly. The sightlines are solid all the way around, and the climate-controlled dome means you're watching the game in a perfect 72 degrees while it's 112 outside. The concessions aren't mind-blowing, but they're decent, and the layout makes getting around painless. The catch? The energy can feel a little corporate. When the cards are good, the Red Sea shows up and gets rowdy. But when they're not, the vibe can dip into AAA baseball matinee territory. It's part Cardinals fan base, part snowbirds, part bachelor party filler crowd. Still, when the dome's full, it rocks. The building itself has hosted some serious events, multiple Super Bowls, Final Fours, and big-name concerts. It's built for the spotlight and shines when it's on. Day-to-day Cardinals games? Maybe not elite, but definitely high-floor, low-drama stadium comfort. Number 10, Caesars Superdome, New Orleans Saints. The Superdome is football in a gumbo pot. Loud, chaotic, deeply flavorful, and uniquely New Orleans. Opened in 1975, it's one of the oldest stadiums in the league, but don't let the age fool you. After $500 million in renovations, this dome's been Botoxed, bayoneted, and battle-tested. And when it's rocking, it's easily one of the wildest atmospheres in the NFL. From the outside, it still looks like a giant medieval cauldron parked in the middle of downtown. Inside, it's steep, tight, and noisy as hell. Saints fans don't mess around, hoot at chants, bounce off the dome walls like a jazz trumpet solo. The noise doesn't just hit your ears, it lives in your chest. The upgrades have helped too. Smoother entry, better concourses, modern seats, and escalators that don't feel like they're from the 70s. Food? Absolute cheat code. While other stadiums sling overpriced pretzels and dry burgers, the Superdome serves po' boys, gumbo, jambalaya, and daiquiris. Yes, daiquiris. Try watching your team fumble a punt return while double-fisting beignets in a hurricane. It takes the edge off. Plus, your steps from the French Quarter, so pre-game and post-game aren't just traditions. They're full-blown parades. Tailgating, it spills under overpasses with brass bands and impromptu second lines. You're not just attending a game, you're attending a cultural event. Bottom line, the Superdome doesn't try to be sleek or trendy. It's loud, it's lived in, and it's a New Orleans icon. It might be old, but like a well-worn jazz bar, it's still the best seat in town. Number 9, Geha Field at Arrowhead, Kansas City Chiefs. Arrowhead isn't just a stadium, it's a weapon. Opened in 1972 and still somehow louder than your favorite band's encore, this is the undisputed noise king of the NFL. The Guinness World Record says 142.2 decibels, but anyone who's been there for a Mahomes touchdown knows it feels louder. Your chest rattles, your ears ring, your soul reconsiders things. The bowl design is genius, tight, steep, and designed to trap sound like a concrete megaphone. And Chiefs fans? Rabid. It's a red-clad army that shows up early, stays late, and never stops. Rain, snow, playoff heartbreak? Doesn't matter. They're there, loud as ever, probably with a rack of ribs in one hand and a light beer in the other. Speaking of ribs, the tailgating scene is legendary. Like top 3 in the league legendary. People show up at dawn to slow smoke brisket and hand out burnt ends like communion. Inside the stadium, the BBQ keeps coming. Arrowhead might be the only NFL venue where missing a quarter to stand in a food line is actually worth it. Facilities? They've kept up. The 2010 renovation was a game changer, wider concourses, better bathrooms, and a slicker scoreboard. It's still an old stadium at heart, but it doesn't feel dated. The only downside? Getting out of the parking lot of post-game is a masterclass in patience. Bottom line, Arrowhead is pure football. Loud, rowdy, smoke in the air, noise in your bones. If you're building a bucket list of NFL stadiums, this one should be in permanent ink. Number 8, Lucas Oil Stadium, Indianapolis Colts. Lucas Oil Stadium is a sleek downtown showpiece with a bit of a split personality. On paper, it's got everything: retractable roof, massive glass window with skyline views, central location, and a design that mixes red brick Hoosier charm with NFL-scale tech. Opened in 2008, the Luke should be an all-timer. But here's the twist. It looks better than it sounds. The good, it's ridiculously accessible. Your steps from bars, restaurants, and hotels. Getting in and out is easy, and once inside, you're treated to wide concourses, clean sightlines, and one of the more polished stadium interiors in the league. The retractable roof and window wall bring in light and open-air vibes without the sunburn and sweat. It's climate-controlled comfort for Midwestern football. But the vibe? That's where it falls short. Despite the architectural flash, the Luke doesn't quite bring the thunder. Acoustics are solid, but the crowd doesn't always bring it. Maybe it's the shadow of the RCA Dome, or maybe it's just Indiana nice, but visiting teams don't seem to fear this place the way they should. Food's fine, but not especially memorable. You'll find your basic stadium fare with a few local touches, but nothing that's going viral. And during big moments, the place is loud. But not Arrowhead loud, not Superdome loud, just loud enough. Bottom line, Lucas Oil is a fantastic stadium to be in. It's clean, modern, easy to get to, and looks great on a postcard. But if you're hunting for a raucous, soul-shaking NFL atmosphere, it's still chasing that energy. Number 7, Lumen Field, Seattle Seahawks. Lumen Field is where noise goes to live and opposing offenses go to die. Well, at least it used to be. Built in 2002 with acoustics as the primary design feature, this place was engineered to weaponize crowd volume. And for years, it did. The 12s weren't just a marketing gimmick. They were a seismic threat, literally. The beastquake wasn't metaphorical. The steep seating, partial roof, and open ends funnel sound like a jet engine in a canyon. And it worked. Teams dreaded the trip to Seattle. From 2002 to 2016, the Seahawks had an absurd 85-35 home record. Since 2017, not quite as terrifying. Now it's more rowdy party than Cauldron of Doom. When Giants or Cowboys fans roll into town and get their chants going, that's a red flag. Still, game day here is elite. The views of downtown and Puget Sound are incredible. The stadium is walkable from just about anywhere, and the food game is strong. You want a Bam Bam smash burger or a teriyaki short rib sandwich? You got it. Plus, the Hawks Nest section is a great spot for rowdy diehards who don't want to refinance their house for a ticket. Parking is expensive, but the public transit setup is solid. You're right in SoDo, surrounded by bars, breweries, and music venues, so the pre- and post-game scene has serious juice. Bottom line, Lumen Field might not be quite the house of horrors it once was, but it's still a top-tier stadium with a great setting, strong culture, and fans who know how to bring the energy. Number 6, Allegiant Stadium, Las Vegas Raiders. They call it the Death Star, and yeah, it absolutely looks the part. Allegiant Stadium is a $2 billion jet black monolith sitting just off the Vegas Strip, and it's hands down one of the most jaw-dropping stadiums in the league. Opened in 2020, this place is what happens when the Raiders meet Sin City. Sleek, loud, flashy, and unapologetically over the top. Inside, it's all climate-controlled comfort. You're not baking in the desert sun. You're chilling in style with top-tier views from pretty much every seat. The retractable grass field is a cool tech flex, and the massive 85-foot Al Davis Memorial Torch glows like something out of a Star Wars finale. It's modern, it's intense, it's Vegas, baby. The downside, it's got a bit of a corporate feel. While the old Coliseum in Oakland was raw and rugged, Allegiant is polished and primped. Raiders fans still bring some edge, but with tourists, transplants, and corporate VIPs filling a chunk of the seats, it doesn't always feel like a true home field hellscape. But make no mistake, it's a party. You're a stone's throw from the Strip. The pregame scene has more glitz than grit, and when the team is rolling, the place comes alive. Add in Super Bowls, concerts, and UNLV games, and this stadium stays busy. Bottom line, Allegiant is a destination. It may not have the soul of the black hole, but it's the NFL's new party palace. And for now, the Raiders are the league's flashiest hosts. Number 5, Mercedes-Benz Stadium, Atlanta Falcons. If the NFL ever builds a spaceship, it's going to look exactly like Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Opened in 2017, this $1.6 billion beauty dropped into downtown Atlanta like a sci-fi movie set, complete with an 8-pedal retractable roof, a 360-degree halo video board, and enough LED lighting to light up the state of Georgia. Inside, it's as sleek as you'd expect. The bowl is tight, the angles are sharp, and the sound, it bounces. The place was clearly built to crank up the volume, though whether Falcons fans always do their part is another story. The vibe can shift from electric to museum crowd, depending on how the team's doing. But when it's full and loud, that halo board and booming acoustics turn it into a techie Thunderdome. Where this place really wins is fan comfort. Mercedes-Benz Stadium offers the cheapest food and drink in the NFL. 2 hot dogs, $5 beers, refillable sodas. It's practically a Costco food court with a football game going on. Plus, the layout gives fans plenty of room to wander and actually enjoy the building between quarters. The only knock? It's so modern it can feel more like a corporate demo reel than a home stadium. You won't find much grit or grime, just glass, steel, and clean lines. And while that might not scream Falcons football, it does scream comfortable, efficient, and Instagrammable. Bottom line, Mercedes-Benz Stadium is the NFL's luxury hotel of venues. Smooth, stylish, and surprisingly affordable once you're inside. Just pray the Falcons show up to match the setting. Number 4, AT&T Stadium, Dallas Cowboys. They call it Jerry World for a reason. AT&T Stadium is less a football venue and more a colossal climate-controlled monument. Opened in 2009 with a $1.15 billion price tag, this place screams, everything's bigger in Texas, before you even pass security. The retractable roof, massive. The HD video board, it practically blocks out the sun. The capacity, over 100,000 if Jerry wants it. Subtlety left the building a long time ago. Walking into this place is like entering the football version of a Vegas casino. Bright lights, big screens, and a sense that someone is spending a lot more money than you are. It's clean, it's huge, and it's impressive. But here's the thing. Sometimes it feels more like a luxury showroom than a football stadium. There's a ton of corporate hospitality and a slightly sterile vibe, especially in the upper levels where the real noise tends to get lost in the volume. Game day here is an experience. You've got high-end dining, endless concessions, art installations, and even field-level suites for people who want to be close enough to trip Ezekiel Elliott mid-run. The team store is bigger than some small-town malls, but there's also that infamous East-West Stadium design flaw. Yep, sunlight often beams right through the massive glass end zone wall, blinding fans and players during day games. Oops. Still, love it or hate it, AT&T Stadium is undeniably a spectacle. You don't come here for cozy nostalgia, you come to be wowed, and Jerry's Palace delivers, even if it feels more like a theme park than a gridiron cathedral. Number 3, Lambeau Field, Green Bay Packers. Lambeau Field isn't just a stadium, it's football's Vatican. Opened in 1957 and barely touched since, it's old school to the bone in the best possible way. You walk in and immediately feel like you've entered a sacred space, except instead of stained glass, it's Vince Lombardi quotes, and frozen breath clouds. This place is all about tradition. The bleacher seats, unforgiving. The field, frozen solid by December. The fans, absolute lifers. Lambeau doesn't care about your retractable roof or luxury boxes. It cares about the game, the weather, and cheese. Lots of cheese. And then there's the Lambeau Leap, a touchdown celebration turned into a community hug. It's the only stadium move with a 30-year highlight reel. Tailgating here is a religion. You're not seeing Ferraris with hibachis. You're seeing beat-up trucks, bratwursts, beer brats, and enough green and gold to blind you in the Wisconsin sun or snow. Everyone's friendly, even to visiting fans. But make no mistake, on Sundays, this town of 100,000 becomes the NFL's loudest, coldest, and most dedicated home crowd. Amenities, don't come for those. You'll be freezing, sitting on metal, and paying too much for hot chocolate. But that's the point. Lambeau's not trying to impress you with LED ribbons. It's here to host football. Period. Bottom line, Lambeau Field is the NFL's soul. It's not pretty, it's not flashy, but it's real. And if you're a football fan, you owe it to yourself to experience a game here, preferably with snow falling and the Pack in the playoffs. Number 2, SoFi Stadium, Los Angeles Chargers and Los Angeles Rams. SoFi Stadium looks less like a place to watch football and more like the backdrop for the next Marvel showdown. With better lighting and pricier snacks, this $5.5 billion mega complex opened in 2020 and immediately became the NFL's crown jewel. It's jaw-droppingly huge, sleek as hell, and topped with a translucent canopy that gives you outdoor light without the outdoor heat. The 360-degree infinity screen floats above the field like a halo and might just be the main character of your game day experience. Game vibe? Depends who's playing. Rams games feel like a red carpet event with celebrities, influencers, and enough Gucci to start a fashion week. Chargers games? More chill, like this might be a road game chill depending on the opponent. Still, when it's full and rocking, SoFi gets loud. The acoustics are sharp, and that screen doesn't just look good, it throws noise right back at you. Navigating the place? Welcome to a cardio session. The stadium is massive and vertical. Finding your gate, your section, and then your seat might take longer than the first quarter. But once you're in, it's luxury all around. The food scene is peak LA with vendors like John and Vinny's slinging overpriced but delicious bites. Pro tip: bring your wallet and maybe a line of credit. The location in Inglewood is central, but not exactly tailgate central. You'll see more pregame selfies than smoky grills, and parking will cost you the same as a decent pair of sneakers. Bottom line, SoFi is the future of stadiums. Big, bold, beautiful, and maybe a little bit bougie. If you're here for gritty tradition, look elsewhere. If you want high-end football and a 5-star spaceship, you've landed. Number 1, US Bank Stadium, Minnesota Vikings. If a glass-paneled Viking warship from the future decided to plant itself in downtown Minneapolis and throw an NFL party every Sunday, you'd get US Bank Stadium. Opened in 2016, this glass and steel beast rises out of downtown like the Viking warship it was designed to resemble. Sharp angles, huge windows, and a translucent roof that lets in light but keeps the sub-zero reality of Minnesota winters outside where it belongs. Inside, loud, like one of the loudest. The steep seating and smart acoustics turn every Skol chant into a sonic boom. And speaking of Skol, when 66,000 fans start clapping in sync like a Viking war party, you don't just hear it, you feel it. It's theatrical, primal, and perfect for a team whose logo might as well be a war horn. Everything here feels premium: massive video boards, slick suites, Wi-Fi that actually works, and concourses that don't make you feel like you're in a hockey locker room. The food options are solid, Minnesota staples with enough variety to keep the snobs and sausage lovers equally satisfied. And let's not forget the giant Viking ship out front, complete with a 2,000 square foot digital sail. Subtle? Nope. Awesome? Absolutely. Only knock? It's not cheap. Tickets, food, drinks, they'll cost you. But that's the price of admission to one of the best game day experiences in the league. Add in the downtown location and easy transit access, and US Bank becomes a must-visit. Bottom line, it's a futuristic fortress for a franchise steeped in Norse mythology, loud, stylish, and uniquely Minnesota. Bring your horned helmet and prepare for battle.